The judge just asked Ramsey's attorney about, is there any evidence for innocence? And the only thing that Johnny's lawyer, Ramsey Khalid Ismail's lawyer, said is the only new evidence is that they settled with Youngma. That's not evidence. It's just, okay, you got a charge drop. There's no evidence of innocence.
So finally, Johnny Somali's most wanted and controversial trial happened, and you already saw Johnny Somali being shown in court with Hank Yu and his lawyer. So what actually happened? Who is hearing the good news? Johnny Somali or the South Korean people? Well, Johnny Somali might still get another chance to escape, because what happened is nothing very shocking to him. But Johnny Somali's trial has not taken a fully new turn. So what happened? And is Johnny Somali now winning or not? I will give you a full breakdown. Let's keep watching. So, as of Legal Mindset's post, this is what they're saying about Johnny Somali's entry into the court. You can see, Johnny and Hank showed up today, along with his lawyer, in matching black suits for his latest trial date. Initially, we thought today might turn out to be a small victory for Ramsey Khalid Ismail, but it turned into an embarrassing loss, with Ramsey now stuck in Korea indefinitely. According to Atozy and members of the Somali conviction team, we are getting to know that Bong Bong was not testified in court, and that's why a lot of people are now even cursing Bong Bong, questioning why she is trying to stay away from Johnny Somali's trial. Like in this post, you can see. Let me get this straight, Bong Bong. You made a police report on Johnny Somali about the deepfake. You hired a lawyer for this number Johnny Somali case. You spent money on this case, and you don't show up in court? What in the actual fuck? No, really. You are frustrating. I don't know if Johnny Somali is trying to intimidate her or not, but according to the latest update, Johnny Somali's next trial is delayed until February. On this trial, Johnny Somali still pleaded guilty to 6 criminal charges, but since Bong Bong did not come to court, the trial was delayed. Johnny Somali's trial is still ongoing and has not ended. The lawyer also said they are now confronted with new evidence.
We're looking at a 4 month,
3.5, something like that.
Which is that is just crazy. So
they submitted new evidence and a new statement. The lawyer did. He basically said this is the old arguments that he's been making, and we've gone over those, and we'll go over a couple maybe today. But the one new addition was this settlement, and they're hoping that this settlement well obviously the first deepfake charge is going to be dropped. So that's going to be off the record. But their strategy is that they hope that this will get some sympathy that will help them in the other cases.
So, if you're asking about the current situation for Johnny Somali, it's still not fully exposed because Bong Bong was not testified in court. Now, let me know your opinion. Why did Bong Bong actually not attend, even though she said she didn't care about Johnny Somali anymore? Everyone is frustrated about that. If Bong Bong had been confronted in court, the court might have taken action against Johnny Somali immediately because almost all the charges have been resolved, and only the deepfake charge argument remains.
what was her? She had like a crazy quote like a couple days ago when she decided to fly to Australia. She was like, my lawyer said I didn't have to show up. I don't care about Johnny.
And I don't have time for Johnny.
I don't have time. That's what it was.
I don't have time for Johnny Somali. That's what she said.
So yeah, she's in Australia because of that. Then suddenly she went live this morning and was panicked because a bunch of her chatters were saying, hey, you might get pretty severe fines if you just no show. So then suddenly she submitted this like official, not a request, but like she made an official statement saying she wasn't going to show up for this trial.
Yeah, it's, you could call it a request, but basically saying, I'm not coming, here's the reason I'm not coming. This was obviously done through a lawyer since she's in Australia, so we don't know how sincere these words are, but what did she say? She said that she's willing to attend 1 month from now.
So isn't this a sign that Bong Bong is actually trying to save Johnny Somali? At first, she filed charges against Johnny, but when it came time for the final testimony, Bong Bong did not show up in court. Now, a lot of people are saying that this might be bad for Johnny Somali. It could be risky because he's still in South Korea, but you need to know, Johnny Somali is not stuck in jail. He's still free in South Korea. Imagine if something happens this time. What could Johnny Somali do next? So why is Bong Bong trying to save Johnny Somali? Or is this another tactic or conspiracy from Johnny Somali or Hank Yu? What's your opinion? Let me know. As of now, Johnny Somali won a trial last time, so one of his deepfake charges was also dropped. Here's the breakdown. Johnny Somali pleaded guilty to 4 obstruction of business charges, which can lead to up to 5 years imprisonment or a fine up to 50 million won. He also has 2 minor counts, but the deepfake charge still has not been resolved.
Ramsey is denying the charge of deepfake, saying that there was no intent. He also argues that the material cannot cause sexual humiliation. So he's saying the deepfake was not sexual, is what he's claiming. He's saying he had no intent. He admits to distributing it, but he denies it can cause harm in the form of shame. This is not going to work. Intent is not an element of the crime. So he's arguing that he didn't have intent, but intent is not an element of the crime. So he's literally arguing something that doesn't matter. Beyond that, kissing is sexual per se. So there's no, he's not going to be able to get out of that. So showing somebody kissing somebody else that is sexual under Korean jurisprudence, right? So his arguments are extraordinarily weak. These are the arguments we've told you are extraordinarily weak for the last 6 months now, 8 months. I've told you these are weak arguments. So he has no argument, and he's confessed to the actual crime, which is distributing it. So he's just confessed on the stand to the crime.
So everyone actually knows that the shady tactics of Johnny Somali and his illogical arguments in court are totally unreasonable. Johnny Somali is still trying to claim he is not guilty of the deepfake crime. This is actually a sign that he's trying to escape, as he filed a counter lawsuit against the victim last week, giving him another chance. So yeah, maybe Johnny Somali is thinking he can get another chance this time. Now let's look at some of the public's reactions to this issue. People made several comments like, one person said, "Sure would be hilarious if the court took the lawyers because this investigation was dropped, Ramsey should be innocent of the obstruction ruling logic, and turned it into, because Ramsey pled guilty to the obstruction ruling, the investigation should be reopened." Another commented, "I really hope they don't go easy on him. He's one of those people who truly seem irredeemable. He was given so many chances to change or stop, but he never did. He hit rock bottom and kept going. They need to make an example of him in court and show that tourists can't do this and get a slap on the wrist for crimes. We'll see what's next year, I guess." Another said, "He 100,000,000% deserves jail time in any third world country. 3 to 10 years at best, to actually make him learn something. Slap on the wrist and a sorry won't change this pathetic person." Another wrote, "Still in his 2-star hotel room with his overweight on the waiting list boyfriend and staying in Korea for free in the next 3 months. Somebody finish this trial already." And the final comment, "I wonder if they have debtor's jail in Korea. It is where you are put until fines are paid. So you could be in there a day, months, or even years. Johnny could be given big fines, which would end up longer than actual prison sentences, due to both him and Hank not having the money to be released." So this actually proves that people want Johnny Somali to get a hard punishment. But still, it doesn't look like he's getting any real punishment because he's still free in South Korea, just waiting, dancing, or causing chaos. What kind of punishment is that? So Johnny Somali and his lawyer are now getting a new chance to make even more illogical arguments in court, just like they did before. This is ridiculously illogical, and none of these actions should actually be accepted by the judge.
The judge just asked Ramsey's attorney about, is there any evidence for innocence? And the only thing that Johnny's lawyer, Ramsey Cletus lawyer, said is the only new evidence is that they settle with Youngman. That's not evidence. It's just, okay, you got a charge drop. There's no evidence of innocence at all that they've submitted. Wow.
So as we can see, Johnny Somali's trial is still full of twists, illogical arguments, and shocking absences. People are frustrated, the court is delayed, and yet he remains free in South Korea, seemingly unbothered. Will justice finally catch up to him, or will he find another way to dodge consequences? Only time will tell. Stay tuned, keep following the updates, and we'll break down every move in Johnny Somali's ongoing saga.